Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. You are watching my channel DNA Learning School and I am Dhananjay sir. In the last class, we discussed about the defects of vision and parts of the eye and different functions of the eye and parts of the eye and defects of vision and all. So let's continue our topic. So human eye and colorful world. Okay, so when you next step, when you just move on to the topic, next we have refraction of glass through a prism. Okay, so refraction of light through a glass prism. So have you seen prism anytime? No? Okay, so how does the prism looks like? Yes, so the prism is like, it has three rectangular faces. Okay, so I can give you a small diagrammatically showing you, okay, how does the prism looks like. So it got three rectangular faces and two triangular faces. That's why we call it as a prism. Okay, so like this. Okay, you might have seen kaleidoscope, right? Kaleidoscope, have you seen? Yes, like that. It is, it's a type of, glass prism. Understand? So it's a three-dimensional figure like this. So this is called a prism. Okay, so then what is refraction of light? What happens when the light passes through the prism? So let's explore. Okay, what and all happens. So consider a prism like this. So I'm just showing you the two-dimensional, children, and you can see the prisms. It is made up of glass. I'll show you in the next class. So this is a prism. Consider a prism. Okay, so what happens when the light ray is allowed to fall through the prism? Okay, what happens after that? Yes, so so this is the surface. The light ray is going from which medium? This one? Yes, rarer medium. So what is rarer medium? The light, the speed of the light is less, no? The medium in which speed of the light is less, we call it as a rarer, the medium in which speed of the light is more is called as a rarer medium. So the medium in which speed of the light is less is called a denser medium. Okay, obviously air is a rarer medium. So when it travels from rarer medium to denser medium, what happens? So I will draw a normal here. Okay, so what is a normal? Everything you know. That normal is an imaginary line drawn perpendicular to the surface. So perpendicular means what? 90 degree. Okay, so now when the light rays travel from rarer to denser, so glass is a denser, of course. Of course, glass is made up of, more amount of close pack. It is already, okay. So what happens when the light ray travels from rarer to denser medium? It bends towards the normal. Okay, this is the normal. This is the light ray incidence. It bends towards the normal. What ray we call this as? Incident ray. Incident ray. How do you represent this? Yes or no? Okay. So when the light rays travel from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And now it is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. Okay. So now let me draw a normal here. Okay, so what happens? Yes, it bends away from the normal. It goes out of the normal. Yes or no? So this light ray, we call it as emergent ray. Emergent ray. Okay, the light ray which is going out of the prism or out of anything. So it's coming out. Emergent, what is the meaning of emergent? It's coming out. Okay, this is called an emergent ray and this is called an incident ray. And what do we call this? This is called as refracted ray. Okay, refracted ray, the bent ray. Okay, we say that the ray which has bent. Okay, so this is the just simple diagram. Here we have to mention certain angles here. Okay, which are all the angles which are important. So this angle is important. You have to note down. What do we call this angle? Angle of incidence. Okay, so it is represented by I cap, small I on cap. Okay, so what is angle of incidence? The angle between the incident ray to the normal is called as angle of incidence. And here we are going to mark certain angle here. So what do we call that angle? Angle of refraction, not reflection, remember. Okay, refraction. So this is the angle of refraction. Okay, and now the same light ray comes here, and this angle of emergence. Okay, so angle between the normal to the emergent ray. Okay, these are the things you want to remember: the angle of incidence, angle of refraction, and angle of emergence. Okay, so if the prism was not there, what would have happened? Okay. So if the prism was not there, the light ray would have gone straight. Because of the prism, what happened? Because of the prism, the light ray would have gone straight. Because of the prism, the light ray has taken deviation. Okay, so which means that it gets deviated. So this much it got deviated. So now how much it got deviated? Let me just produce this ray backward. So now this angle, what is this angle is called? Angle of deviation. So okay, so angle of deviation. What is angle of deviation? We have to note down. Angle of deviation. Okay, so the angle between actual incident ray to which ray? Yes, emergent ray. So this is the actual incident ray, this is the emergent ray. This much the light has changed its direction. So if the prism was not there, means that would have gone straight. Because of the prism, it is changing the direction like this. So this much is called angle of deviation. Very important, children. So they will ask you in the exam, they will give you the diagram. So this diagram is very important. No need of explanation and all. But what kind of questions they ask you is, what is name angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of deviation, angle of refraction, that and all they will ask you. Okay, and also this kind of, what kind of questions they can put you is, just they will give you a diagram and they will ask you to draw in complete the follow. Okay, certain kind of questions can be asked. And here one more important thing that we want to discuss is angle of the prism. So okay, so this is the angle of the prism. The angle between the two lateral surfaces is called as angle of the prism. Angle of the prism is represented by a cap. So angle of prism, what is angle of prism? The angle between two lateral surfaces of the prism. So two lateral surfaces of the prism. Here prism is there, so two lateral surfaces are there. So in between what we have angle, that angle we call it as angle of the prism. So these are the very, very important points you have to remember for the exam point of view. Okay, so refraction of light through glass prism. Okay, refraction of white light through glass prism. Okay, so we came to know that, we learned that the light rays get deviates, and these are the diagrams, that important things we need to note down. What happens when a white light is passed through the prism? So what happens when the white light is passed through the prism? So let us see what happens when the white light is passed through the prism. So consider that this is the incident light ray and it is going to be, okay, so next what happens when the light ray goes into the prism? So when it goes into the prism, it is going to split up into its constituent colors. It is going to split up into some constituent colors. What do we call those colors? Vibgyor. So it is going to split up a 7 kind of color. This process we call dispersion. What do we call? Yes, dispersion. So we learned, we have to know about, so what happens? What did I do? I allowed the white light to pass through the prism. So when I allowed the white light to pass through the prism, it splits up into the 7 colors. So this is called dispersion. You have to note down this. Okay, very important for 1 mark question. They will ask you what is dispersion. Okay, children. So dispersion means the process of splitting of white light. The process of splitting of white light into 7 colors is called dispersion. So this process, so whatever that when I allow the white light to pass through the prism, so that it splits up into the 7 colors. This process we call it as dispersion. Note down, very very important. The process of splitting up of white light into 7 colors, we call it as, what do we call? Yes, dispersion. Okay, so this is about the dispersion. Now if the prism was not there, what would have happened? The light ray would have gone straight. Yes or no? The light ray would have gone straight if the prism was not there. So the light ray would have gone straight like this. Because of the prism, what happens? The light ray is going to split up into 7 colors. What makes this 7 colors to split up? Okay, so we need to know. So we know that. Okay, so what is the reason for the splitting up? The reason for the splitting up is wavelength of each light. Okay, this is very important. What is the reason for splitting up of white light? Wavelength of the each color. Okay, so then what is wavelength? Wavelength means it is represented as lambda. Wavelength means lambda. Okay, so wavelength means the distance between consecutive crest. This we will call as crest. Or the distance between consecutive trough. This we call as trough or crest. This is called wavelength. Okay, so crest, the distance between consecutive crest or trough. So whenever we see a different kind of light, what happens? They will emit a certain color of wavelength to our eye. So only we can able to identify a particular color. So which color is that? Red color. Where red color means red will emit a different kind of wavelength to our eye. Blue color will emit a different wavelength of color to our eye. So because of different emission of wavelengths, that makes us to identify the different kinds of colors. So wavelength makes them to split into the 7 colors. So when we look into this, what happens? Red color has more wavelength. So the distance is more. When I compare to the violet color has less wavelength, the distance is less. So from this you will identify that, see, more wavelength to less wavelength. So the colors of each color, the dispersion or the splitting of light is in the form of so big to small. So what do we call the descending order of wavelength? Descending order. Actually we will take, okay, descending order of wavelength. Descending order. Okay, so when you write from Vibgyor, so let us stop. Okay, we will not take this as a descending order. Since we write as a from Vibgyor, we will write, no. So we can consider that is a Vibgyor is a ascending order of wavelength. So as I already told you, violet has a less wavelength. So then it is a least wavelength. It has a least wavelength compared to all the 7 colors. Next is little bit bigger is indigo. Next is little bit bigger is blue. Next is green. Next is yellow. Next is orange. So when you compare to red and orange has little bit less wavelength compared to red. So who among the more wavelength? More wavelength is red. Less than that is orange. Less than that is yellow. Less than that is green. Less than that is blue, indigo, violet, like that. Okay, so from this you will come to know that violet has the least wavelength among all the colors. So now we come to the topic. So when the prism was not there, the light ray would have gone straight. Okay, so when if because of the prism, you know what happens, all the colors has bent. So this much of red is bent. So this is called as angle of deviation. This much of I already explained you, right, how much the angle, it depends on the emergent ray. Okay, so but when you look into the red has bent only this much. So this much is the angle of deviation for red color, and this much is the angle of deviation for orange, this much is for yellow, this much is for green, this for blue, this for indigo, and this much violet. So from this we come to know that which color bends more is the violet. So if the prism was not there, that would have gone straight. Because of the prism, the light has bent like this. So violet color bends the most. Which color bends the most? Yes, note down, violet color. And which color bends the least? That is called red color. So red color bends the least and violet color bends the most. So when we write in the ascending order of deviation, ascending order of deviation. Okay, so ascending order of deviation means small to big. So we will first is red, next is orange, next is yellow, next is green, next is blue, next is indigo. So this is the ascending order of deviation. Who bends the least? Least is red, then orange, then yellow, then green and blue and indigo. So now ascending order of wavelength. Okay, so ascending order of wavelength. How do we you will able to just take ascending order of wavelength? Which is the smallest wavelength? Yes, indigo. Sorry, violet is the smallest wavelength. Next is which one? Ascending means what? Small to big, violet. Next is indigo. Next is blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So very, very important. Note down this point. They will ask you the application questions. So they will give you a certain 3 colors or 2 colors. So which one has more wavelength? So orange or blue, they will ask you. Orange or blue. So immediately what you will write? Vibgyor you will write. So which one has more wavelength, right? So more wavelength means orange. Orange has more wavelength than blue. And which color bends most? Blue bends most than orange. So they will ask you to write it in the ascending order of wavelength, descending order of wavelength, or ascending order of deviation, descending order. Whichever the question they ask you, you can able to answer from this question. Okay. So next, after dispersion, okay, so we came to know that these are the deviations. So we have spectrum. So what is spectrum? So definition is the band of 7 colors. The band of 7 colors obtained. The band of 7 colors obtained on the screen. Okay, so now I told you that the white light is going to split. Now what do? I will take a screen or I will take a paper, okay, whichever the things I have. So now I'll catch them. You understand what I'm telling? I'm going to just make those 7 colors to fall on a certain thing like wall, paper or a screen, whichever the thing. So that band of colors what we are obtained, so that obtained, that screen, whatever the colors that we are getting on the screen, that thing we call it as a spectrum. Understood, children? So you understand what I am telling? Yes, no? So when you pass through it, if you keep something, okay, what happens after that? The colors will fall on the paper or a screen or whichever the thing. That thing we call it as that band of 7 colors obtained on the screen, that we call it as a spectrum. Okay. So you know about Sir C.V. Raman. Yes, so Sir C.V. Raman has done some experiments on the band of 7 colors. Okay, so on this band only he identify his certain unique rays. That rays we call Raman spectrum. Okay, because of that only he got a Nobel Prize in physics, the first person in Asia to get a Nobel Prize, you know that. And also we celebrate his birth date as a National Science Day. When do we celebrate that? Yes, identify. So next we'll proceed with that. So before this, what do we do? So the band of 7 colors obtained on the screen. So okay, that is called as a spectrum. Where do we observe this the thing in our daily life? The thing which we observe in the daily life is rainbow. Okay, have you seen rainbow? Yes, no. When have you seen? Yes or no? Yes, after the, you know what? After the rain. Okay, usually yes. So after the rain only we seen a rainbow. So what is a rainbow? The spectrum which is seen on the sky, seen in the sky, is called a rainbow. So the spectrum is nothing but 7 colors which we are seeing in the sky. It is called as a rainbow. So you can also add after rain shower. After rain shower. Yes or no? After rain. So this is natural spectrum. Then how does the rainbow forms? How does rainbow forms? Very important questions. How does rainbow forms? Okay. So in most of the question paper, this question is being repeated, children. Okay. Very one of the important questions from this lesson that we are discussing. How does the rainbow forms? Yes. So let us. So first 2 important points you have to mention. So what is the first point? After the rain, the tiny water droplets present in the atmosphere. Okay, present in the atmosphere acts like a prism. This is the first point, you want to note it down. So after the rain, the tiny water droplets, right? So many water droplets will be present on the buildings, on the plants and grass and everywhere, right? So they will act like a prism. So what happens when the white light is passed through the prism? Yes or no? Yes. Usually, where do we observe? When we observe the spectrum, rainbow, usually opposite to the sun. Yes or no? What happens? The light ray will fall on the small water droplets. Then it splits up the colors. But you have to write the answers in a very standard form. So we will write like this. So this is the first point. You have to note it down. After the rain, the tiny water droplets present in the atmosphere acts like a prism. They refract, disperse, reflect internally to form a rainbow. So this is very important, children, and this you have to write it in an order. Okay, so let us consider this as water droplets. Okay, so let us consider this as water droplets. So what happens? Let us allow the sunlight, the white light to enter the water droplets. So this is rarer medium and this is denser medium. What happens when a light ray goes from rarer to denser medium? First thing that takes place is bending phenomenon. Okay, little bit it bends. Everybody knows. So after bending, what happens? It is going to split up into, certain kind of colors. We call it as Weber, So when they split up, first you have to identify they refract. Refract means bending phenomenon will take place. Next, disperse. Disperse means what? It splits up. Splitting of light takes place. Then what happens? They will, reflection takes place. Okay. So here dispersion. Dispersion means what? Yes. splitting of light. Here refraction. So refraction means what? Bending of light, right? So reflection, you know, that bouncing back of light into the same medium. So like this, these three phenomenon takes place. Now on the sky we can observe a clear, beautiful rainbow. Okay, so you have seen, no? Do you like rainbow? Yes or no? So these are the three things that we need to, you know, remember. So how does the rainbow forms if they ask you the question? So the first point is, after the rain, the tiny water droplets present in the atmosphere acts like a prism, and they refract, disperse and reflect internally. These 3 points in order you should write. Most of the time they ask this in MCQs. Okay, so what things that takes place during a rainbow formation? First thing. Okay, so now this one you have to there say that refract, disperse, reflect internally to form a beautiful rainbow. Did you understand? Any doubts? Okay, so whatever the doubts you have, please put it in a comment box so that I can clarify all your doubts. Okay, and please share, like and subscribe, so that gives a motivation for us to do even more videos. So we'll come to the next topic. So what is the next topic is, so one Newton law is there. So Newton experiment, this is also very important. Frequently they ask you in state board also and CBSE also, explain the Newton law. Okay, so very easy, everybody can write it. Physics is very easy, and especially all theoretical parts, some numerical parts, if you solve, definitely you will score a best marks. So Newton's law on recombination of spectrum of white light. Okay, so this experiment, it is an experiment. You have to explain it, you can explain it according to the diagram, and you have to just you should show definitely with the diagram is compulsory for this. Okay, what does the Newton did? Okay, so what he has done, he took a prism, let us call this prism as P1, and he allowed the white light to fall onto the prism. Okay, so when he allowed the white light to fall onto the prism, you know what happens? It splits up into, band of 7 colors, right? Red to Vibgaya. Understood? And then what he has done, he took one of the color, okay, violet or red, whichever the one of the color, and he allowed it to pass through the other prism. So he allowed the only red light to pass through the other prism. He did not get any other color. Okay, he got only the red color only. He did not get any other color. So from this, what he concluded? Okay, he concluded that whatever the red color, so there is no other color is coming out of the prism, hence prism is not producing any kind of colors. He concluded like that. Okay, so then what he has done, he took another prism and he kept it in a inverted manner. What do you mean by inverted, children? Yes, inverted means ulta. Okay, we call it as ulta now. So that is called inverted. So he kept it in an inverted manner like this. Okay, so he kept it in an inverted manner, and this is red color and this is violet. Red to violet. So what happened after that? This is the white light which he allowed it to pass through. So after that also the same white light has come out. Okay, so the same white light came out of it. So he allowed the white light to pass through it. So what happened? It split up into 7 colors. He took another prism called P2. He kept it in an inverted manner. So same white light came through out of the another prism. Did you understand? So from this, what he concluded? He gave a 2 very important conclusion you have to note down. What is the conclusion? He concluded that the prism does not produce Prism does not produce any kind of colors. Okay, so prism does not produce any kind of colors. This is one of the conclusion. And the second conclusion is the sunlight or the white light is made up of 7 colors. Okay, so white light is made up of 7 colors, and prisms does not produce any kind of color. These are the very 2 important conclusion he made, and they will ask you to explain this experiment. How do we explain this experiment? He would just Newton allowed the white light to pass through a prism called P1. So this is the first point you have to write, and he observed that the band of 7 color has dispersed. Okay, so and afterwards what happened? He allowed one of its colors to pass through the other prism. Then he did not find any other color. Okay, then next he took another prism P2 and kept inverted, and he allowed the band of spectrum to pass through this, and at last he got the white color on the other prism. From this he concluded that the white light is made up of 7 colors. Did you understand? Okay children, we'll move on to the next topic. The next topic is atmospheric refraction. Okay, what is refraction? Refraction means bending. Yes or no? So what is that? Bending of light. Okay, refraction means bending of light. So what is atmospheric refraction? Bending of light. Who is going to bend? Atmosphere. Okay, so atmosphere is going to bend. Yes or no? So then definition for atmospheric refraction: the refraction of light. The refraction. So you can right? What is that? Bending. Okay, the refraction of light by atmosphere. Okay, so this is the 1 mark a sentence. What is refraction of light means? Atmospheric refraction means the bending of light. The refraction of light by atmosphere. The light is going to bend, keep on bending by the atmosphere, is called atmospheric refraction. Okay, we have 2 important results. Okay, so we have to remember what is that important results we have. The first one is twinkling of stars. Twinkling of stars. Okay, so twinkling of stars. Understand? So first one is twinkling of stars, and the second one is what? Early sunrise. Early sunrise, delayed sunset. Okay, early sunrise and delayed sunset. Okay, so did you understand? Early twinkling of stars and early sunrise and delayed sunset. So these are the important results of atmospheric refraction. Why does the stars twinkle? The stars twinkle because of the atmospheric refraction of starlight. You have to write like that. So why does the early sunrise and delayed sunset? How many minutes? 2 minutes. 2 minutes of early sunrise and delayed sunset. That is also because of atmospheric refraction of sunlight. Okay, so let us see how does it produced. Okay, so we can consider that we are on the earth. Yes, no, we are on the earth only, right? So earth has a different layer of air. So let us consider that is A, B and C. Okay, so here in the A region we have more air molecules. Yes or no? More air molecules is present. Next, when you go little bit upper to the B region, what happens? Very few air molecules are present. Very few. So when you go to C region, so very less air molecules are present. When you go to D, of course, it is a vacuum. So vacuum. What is vacuum, children? So vacuum, nothing, empty. Empty space is there, is called as a vacuum. So now what happens? Consider a star. A star is there here. Okay, what happens when the star, so the starlight enters the atmosphere. Okay, so when the starlight enters the atmosphere, and this is, what happens? Vacuum, I told you, it is rarer medium. Why it is called rarer medium, children? Because no air molecule is present. It is full of empty space. Okay, you have nothing there. So when you do not have nothing, so that's called as a rarer medium. When it enters to the sea level, so I have taken as a sea, little air molecule is present. So what happens? The starlight is going to little bend. Refraction takes place, the bending phenomenon. Why bending phenomenon, children? Because it is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Okay, so when it travels from C to B, so when you compare C and B, which is rarer medium? Yes, C is rarer medium and this is denser medium. Yes or no? Why? Because here very few air molecules are there present, but here little bit more air molecules are present. So now light ray is traveling from rarer to denser medium. Little bit it bends towards. Okay, when you compare to B and A, which is rarer medium, of course B is rarer medium and A is denser medium. Okay, so what happens? Continuously it bends. Okay, so like this continuous bending of light ray takes place. Okay, so when the continuous bending of light ray takes place, by looking at the path of the light, we will just imagine that, oh, star is there in this position. But actually star is not there. The star position is this. Because of the path of the light coming to us, we just look and locate that the star is there. So here when the star, what happens? This position we call apparent position of the star. Apparent, A-P-P-A-R-E-N-T, apparent position. Apparent means it's a fake. So it is not real position. So what is the actual position? This is the actual position of the star. Okay, so we will see the apparent position of the star. And also, children, these A, B, C, the air molecules are not constant. They blow from one medium, one area, one region to another region. So when they blow, what happens? There is a continuous fluctuation takes place. The refractive index changes. So sometimes this becomes rarer, denser, or fluctuation when takes place, so that the light also gets fluctuate, so that we assume that the star is twinkling. But why the star is not twinkling? The star is twinkling because of the atmospheric refraction of starlight. Okay, atmospheric refraction of starlight. So they will ask you one more question from this. Why does the star twinkle? If they ask you the why does the star twinkles, you have to write atmospheric refraction of starlight. Okay, so we have one more result is early sunrise and delayed sunset. So same, we are on the earth. Okay, so now here is the atmosphere. So consider that the sun is here. So what happens when the sun, so this is sun. Okay, so now we are on the earth, some air molecules and all is present. Now when the sunlight enters obliquely like this. Okay, when the sunlight enters obliquely like this, what happens? It is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. It undergoes little bit bending. Okay, so when it bending, so as we are standing here and we observe the bending like this, so by looking at the path of the light, so we imagine that the sun is here. But actually this is apparent position of the sun. This is apparent position, not original position. Okay, so this is the real position of the sun. This is called early sunrise. Okay, so early sunrise. Why that early sunrise is taking place? Because of atmospheric refraction. Because of atmospheric refraction of Which one? Atmospheric refraction of sunlight. Okay, because of atmospheric refraction of sunlight, you know that sunlight keeps bending, so that by looking at the path of the light, we say that, oh, sun has come little bit early, but whatever we are seeing is the image of the sun. But sun will not come up, so it comes little bit delay by 2 minutes. Okay, in delayed sunset also. So same example I can give. Already sun has set. Okay. So already sun has set, and here the light ray comes like this and just bends like this. But we will see the sun image like this, and we see that, oh, sun is not set. But we are seeing the image of the sun, which the sun has not set, but the sun has already set, but we are just seeing the image of the sun. We think that sun has not set. Understand? No? So, but sun has already set, but we are seeing the image of the sun. So, this is the very, very important about atmospheric refraction of, light. Okay? Did you understand? So, scattering of light. What is scattering of light? Scatter means what? Spread. Okay. So, what happens? How does the sun? So, you have a sun here, right? So, what happens when the sunlight falls on a certain things like particles which is present in the atmosphere? Okay, small particles are present, no? Yes or no? All dust, smokes and all, we call it as the particles. So what happens? What do this particle will do? So they will spread the light. Okay, spreads up. They're spreading up. Okay, the spreading of light in all directions. In all directions by particles present in atmosphere. Okay, so this is called scattering of light. So the light is going to be spread in all the directions. So when the sunlight falls on a certain particles, so it is going to be spread out. So this thing we call it as a scattering of light. Okay, understood, children? Who is going to be scattered? The smallest particles, whichever they are all present in the atmosphere. They are going to scatter the light. So this is called a scattering of light. So what are the results of this? So what happens if you scatter a light? So what are the results? The first phenomena is sky is blue or sky looks blue. Okay, so sky looks blue. And the second phenomenon is white clouds or whiteness of clouds. Whiteness of clouds. Clouds looks white. And the third phenomenon is the reddishness of sun in the evening and morning. Okay, so let us discuss about the results. Very important, children. They will ask you, why does sky looks blue? Okay, so you know that when the small particles which are present in the atmosphere. Okay, so when the sunlight falls on this, so all kind of particles are present. For example, a small particles are present, medium size particles are present, and bigger size particles are also present. Did you understand? So when the sunlight falls on this particle, they, what happens? What do? They will spread the light. They will spread the light. Okay. So the small particles present in the atmosphere. So present in the atmosphere. Okay, the smallest particles present in the atmosphere, scatters blue color wavelength. Okay, so the blue color wavelength more than any other color. So this is very important, children. You have to write as it is what I have written. Why does the sky looks blue means the small particles present in the atmosphere scatters the blue color wavelength more than any other color. Okay, so you can also ask how does. So how means when the sunlight falls on these small particles, they will emit, they will spread a blue color wavelength. So you can also ask, is only a blue color? Why can't the other colors? Other color also will emit, children. Okay, then on what factor it depends on? So scattering of light depends on scattering of light depends on size of particles. Scattering of light depends on size of particles. Okay, this is also very, very important. So size of particles, we know Weber, right? So we have studied about Weber. So here what happens. So when the sunlight falls, the particles are, the blue color is being scattered, which means the size of the particle which are present in the atmosphere are more smallest size of the particles. Okay, so here blue color also, green color also will be scattered, yellow color also will be scattered, and red color also will be scattered. But more number of particles scatter blue color than any other color. Okay, so when you compare to the other colors, size of the particles and all, other colors and all will be scattered very less. Understand? So the size of the particles are more as they scatter blue color wavelength more. So that's why the sky looks blue in color. Understood, children? Okay, so what if the size of the particles are little bit bigger? So little bit bigger means size of the particles, then sky color would have look green, or if little bit even more means sky color would have look yellow and orange and red or something like that. So different colors. And also, so what if the size of the particles are lesser? So the size of the particles are lesser means then the sky would have looked indigo or violet. Okay, did you understand, children? So this is how you have to answer. Why does the sky looks blue? The small particles present in the atmosphere scatters the blue color wavelength more than any other color. That's why the sky looks blue. The next one is the whiteness of the clouds. Why does the sky looks white? Okay, why it looks? So when it scatters all kind of colors equally. Okay, the particles in the cloud, the particles present in the cloud scatters all colors, all seven colors. Seven colors means equally. Hence clouds look white in color. Did you understand? Now white color is the mixture of all. So when it scatters all kind of colors, what happens? It looks white in color. So this is how the whiteness of the clouds. And let's come to the reddishness of the sun, children. So reddishness of the sun. Why does the sun looks reddish in the evening? So what happens? So this is the our earth. So this is our atmosphere. Okay, this is the sun. Sun is at some distance. When the sunlight enters the earth atmosphere, when the sunlight enters the earth atmosphere, you know what happens? It scatters the all kind of color, children. It scatters blue color, it scatters red color, because all size of the particles which are present in near the horizon. So this is called horizon. Horizon. Okay. So and the red color is there, no? So but blue color, you know, whatever the colors that it has scattered, blue color also, green also, but they cannot travel more distances. So why they cannot travel more distances? Because their wavelength is less compared to the other colors. But when you look into the red color, you know, red color has more wavelength. More wavelength means, you know already, right? So wavelength, the distance between consecutive crest or trough is called wavelength. So red color has more wavelength so that it can travel longer distances. Okay, so when we look into the color of light, what is coming to us, so that we judge that sun is reddish. Okay, but actual color of the sun is yellow. Did you understand, children? So this is how the reddishness of sun. Okay, so why does the sun looks reddish in the evening? You have to write this answer. Near the horizon, you know, the sunlight scatters all kind of colors. Near the horizon, you know, sunlight scatters all kind of colors, but the red color has longer wavelength and it deviates less. It has longer wavelength so that it can travel to the observer. That's why it looks reddish in the evening. And also, children, we use red color to indicate danger signal. This is also very important. Red is used to indicate danger signal. So why do we indicate danger signal? Last time only we have observed when the white light is passed through, the red color is the less it deviates less compared to any other color. Okay, so red color deviates less. Understand? So this is the reason that we use the red color to indicate danger signal. So why do we use the red color to indicate danger signal? You have to write mainly two reasons. The first reason is red color has less deviation. Red color has less deviation. Less deviation in the sense it just it bends very less. It deviates very less. Red color has less deviation compared to the other color, and it has longer wavelength so that it can reach to the observer for a longer distance. So these are the two reasons you have to mention, children. Okay, why do we use red color? Red color is used to indicate danger signal. Red color used to indicate danger signal because red color has less deviation compared to other colors, and it has a longer wavelength so that it can reach maximum distance. Okay, you have already seen red color where on all we are using in a traffic lights. We are using in a helipads and all the red colors, helipads. And also we are using in to indicate danger signal like trains and all, to stop the trains. Okay, so many things are there. So we are using to indicate any electrical appliances danger means we use red color only. So these are the uses of red color. Red color we are going to indicate the danger signals. Okay, so the next thing is Tyndall effect. We'll continue with Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect, children? Okay, so you have to write the definition. The scattering of light by the colloidal particles. Scattering of light by the colloidal particles present in the atmosphere. Okay, so colloidal particles. What is colloidal particles? Means all kind of dust particles. So what do? They will scatter the sunlight. That phenomenon we call Tyndall effect. Did you understand, children, what is Tyndall effect? So the where can we observe? Where can we observe? This is very important. They will ask you. Okay, where can we observe? First one, this canopy of a dense forest. Canopy of a dense forest. So, you know, right, Amazon forest. Have you been to an Amazon forest? No, right? So you have seen, right? So it is a dense forest in the world. So you know that trees are grown at such a you know, right, that there will be no space in between the, you know, trees and all. Suppose if you have a small space in between trees, you know what happens? The sunlight will pass through it. Okay, so this is called a canopy of a dense forest. When the sunlight is pass through this, you know what happens? All these particles will float around. You will see, you know, the particles will be float around all this. So that is, this effect is called Tyndall effect. Okay, Tyndall effect. So the scattering of light by the colloidal particles present in the atmosphere. So understand, no? So this is called as a Tyndall effect. So this we can observe in a canopy of a dense forest. Second one is a small sunlight through a small hole. So sunlight through a small hole in a smoke filled room. Through a small hole in a smoky room, smoke filled room. Okay. So you have one room here, okay, one room or anywhere, it is full of smoke. So if suppose if you have a small hole, you know what happens? So the sunlight will pass through this, you will observe the, you know, what happens, particle will move around, you will just see, you know, it will just all, you can see the particles actually there. Okay, so the particles will be floating all around it. So that where you will just observe the Tyndall effect. So the scattering of light by the colloidal particles present in the atmosphere is called as Tyndall effect. Okay, so these are the two phenomena, you know, the reasons now observe in a forest and also a smoke filled room. And also you just know that these are the two important, you know, 1 mark questions, so that we can just add up here. So this completes the lesson, children. I hope you have understood everything, whatever the part 1, part 2 and part 3 in a series. So we'll continue to do more and more lessons only because of your encouragement. Please like, subscribe, and put the bell icon for us, so it will be helpful, and comment whatever the necessary, you want any questions or you want any answers, or you have, and so you want anything, any help or related to the, this chapter, we are ready to provide you. And also I will provide you our Telegram link in the description box. Please join that DNA Learning School group. In that, where I am going to post the, the classwork and, questions, solution to blue questions, and also the classwork in that group, which will be very, very helpful for you in the upcoming exams. Thanks for watching.